Hello, and welcome to Big Sound Small Town. I'm your host, Sandy Carlton. The small towns and communities of Cleveland County, North Carolina have long been a hotbed of music in all its many forms. Several Cleveland County musicians have found commercial success and critical acclaim in the music industry. Yeah, everybody knows that Earl Scruggs, Don Gibson, Patty Loveless, and Alicia Bridges are from Cleveland County. Donald Byrd too. So this is not a podcast about them. This is a podcast about the musicians who are still here that keep music alive here. This is the stories, and you need to know them and know the people who are making the music. This is not your normal podcast.
Another day here on earth on this side of the dirt. Oh Lord, I thank you for a new day of work. Oh Lord, I thank you for a new day of work.
That is the sound of A New Day of Work by Kevin Dedmon and his band Dirty Grass Soul. I had an opportunity to sit down with Kevin, and this is what I learned. Stay tuned. Today on Big Sound Small Town, my guest is fiddler, guitarist, vocalist, singer, songwriter, and frontman of Dirty Grass Soul, Mr. Kevin Dedmon.
Thank you for having me, Sandy.
Thank you for coming
appreciate you asking me to be a part of it.
Well, you're a pretty big musical force in this county these days. Do we want to start at the beginning?
Yeah.
And tell me how you got to where you are?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess, well, to go back to the very beginning, we'll dig back in the roots.
Yeah, we'd like
some
to
stuff
do it.
Folks don't know about. I grew up on a farm just north of Shelby. I've lived in Cleveland County my whole life.
Right.
Born and raised. I grew up right on a farm behind 18. And we would show a lot of cows and stuff. Well, my grandpa was an auctioneer. And this is actually a pretty funny story. I don't think I've ever told anybody this.
Oh, that's good.
So when I was probably 4 or 5 years old, that Grundy County auction song, remember that?
Oh, I do, yeah.
My grandpa, there used to be Dedmon's livestock yard in North Cleveland County, and he would auctioneer and stuff like that. And that Grundy County auction song came out, and I was like hearing it talk about auctioneers, and then one thing led to another, and it kind of that sort of it related to me at the time, and like cows and the auctioneering and stuff that I knew about. And I loved that upbeat nature of it,
right,
and everything. Then next thing you know, there in the music video came out for it, there's guys clogging in it and everything. I was goofing around at the house and was like, I want to know how to do that. And I would like dance around to the song. Well, my mom signed me up for clogging lessons. And next thing you know, I clogged and I started going to competitions and everything. And obviously, any clogging is a very North Carolina Appalachian-based style of dance, and directly correlates with like the bluegrass country rhythm. Yes. I mean, basically, it's playing the snare drum with your feet.
Yeah, it is.
And so anyway, I started doing that, and that's kind of what got me into music. I started listening to those songs that we were dancing to, and I wanted to be a fiddle player, and so I signed up for middle school orchestra in 6th grade at Shelby Middle School, and that's when I first started playing instrument. Long story short, I guess.
So you started with the fiddle. That was your first, or violin, I guess, was your first.
Yes.
So you went through the whole orchestra progression in high school and all?
Yep, I did. I started out 6th grade. Ed Allison was the professor, or the orchestra director my 6th grade year. Then he retired. John Champney came in, who is currently the director.
Right, he is, yeah.
Both of those, Ed Allison kind of planted the seed initially in my 6th grade year, because I think kind of if you get through that first year of playing an instrument, you might stick with it.
That's true.
A lot of kids quit. You either like it or you don't, and I don't know. He helped plant the seed enough that I saw it was something I liked doing and wanted to continue doing, and then ever since then I stuck with it.
At that point, did you come home and try to play fiddle tunes, or did you do the straight up?
No, I did. I think day number 1, when I came home, he showed me, because I told him, who, I think we went around and were sharing, what we liked or what music we liked, and Charlie Daniels, of course, was when I thought violin, that was who I thought of.
Okay,
or
gotcha.
Fiddle.
Yeah.
Charlie Daniels was who I thought about, and anyway, he showed me, I remember he played Devil Went Down to Georgia for me when I said that, and I was like, oh man, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard. Yeah. And Bow Them Cabbage Down, which is an old bluegrass song. Just, it's an easy song to play, just 2-note slur, double stop on the A&E strings. That was the first song I played, man.
Too, so I understand. Yeah. So that's really good. So while you were learning the other stuff, you were also learning the fiddle at the same time.
Yeah, I was. I wasn't like heavy into the fiddling,
right?
Until probably I got more into high school. But that definitely, the seed was planted in those middle school earlier years.
Were you playing? Were you playing guitar during this time?
No, actually, my brother who plays the banjo in the band, he got a guitar for Christmas. My parents were like, well, if Kevin's playing fiddle, we can get him a guitar and they can have a little band together. And he got the guitar, but never really latched on to the guitar. And he can play it now a lot. But he was just, he's 5 years younger than me, so I was probably, I would say 13, 14 at the time. He's like 8 or 9 and just maybe even a little young to really latch on to the instrument. And wound up getting a banjo though, and man, he took off immediately when the banjo was his thing.
That's just funny how that works. I mean, that's what appeals to you. It's really strange how that works that way.
It is. When he got that guitar though, when he didn't really play it that much, I kind of started hogging it, I guess, from him. I found out that I liked the guitar, and then in high school started playing a lot of guitar too.
You playing country then? Or?
Yeah. I guess I love all kinds of music, but primarily country and bluegrass music.
Yeah. Well, that's good. All right, so when did you start performing?
Performing was, I would say, like I said, earlier, that clogging. It depended, if you want to call it music or not, but that was my first stage experiences, and I'm so thankful for those. That's something I thank my mom every day. I hated it when I was little, because I was like, I don't know, I thought dancing was girly. I was always, I was a farm boy, manly man. I mean, my dad was like, hell no, I don't want my boy doing that stuff, and I want him playing football and showing cows, and that kind of thing. And then I look back on those years and taking drama. I was always in drama and theater also, and that really helped prepare me for stage experiences now.
Well, you seem natural on stage. I mean, the way you work a crowd, I guess that harkens back to that time, really. Because it's learn how to entertain, not be nervous about being in the spotlight. That's
Thank you.
Then now, okay. So when did you start? I know you played with the orchestra, but did you start playing out music on your own while you were in high school?
So the first, yes, I did. Not anything too serious. I had some friends, the Allen brothers. We went down to, there was a little place in Blacksburg called Country Jam right off of Highway 5.
Yeah, I know where it is.
And it's shut down now. They've got like an RV park beside it. Anyway, we would go there, and it was just like an open mic. You could go there, and there was some fine bluegrass.
Yeah, I've been there, yeah.
There's a lot of big name bluegrass folks that have came through there. But you basically show up on a Friday night, sign your band's name up on the wall, and they'll give you 15 to 20 minutes to play. And then at the end of your set, they'll give you a CD with your performance on it. And I think it was broadcast like on 88.3 or something, or 88.7 maybe, or one of those stations. But it was that would have been my first musical performances.
So when did you decide that you're going to do this? This is what I'm going to do, with my life.
Right, that was later on in college. I think I went to school at NC State for. I started out going for mechanical engineering. Then I started playing a lot. I think me and you were talking about this earlier. You said you went shit, and I went to state not for mechanical engineering. And two years in, I started playing with a band called the Upton Brothers, Wes Jason and their father Dale Upton, and I was playing fiddle for them. That was all I was doing. I wasn't singing or anything, and I would drive home every weekend. We'd be playing somewhere, and that kind of took a toll on the mechanical engineering. You need to be literally just studying mechanical engineering and not doing anything else. And so I wound up dropping down to just tech engineering, which was basically like I'm still an engineer without a seal kind of deal. Yeah. But that I knew I'd worked concrete all through college. I've had jobs in manufacturing and different things all through college and right out of college. And I knew right away I knew when I'm on stage, there, you're a musician, the feeling when you're on stage. It's just, that's the only place I felt happy.
It is.
It got to the point where I was like, I almost wanted to, I wouldn't go to bed at night. I'd stay up till 3 or 4 just because I was so dreading having to
go to work the next day.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I do totally understand that. And it seems like on stage, doesn't matter how tired you are, doesn't matter what's going on. Once you hit that stage, it's your own time that life is good. It is.
It's amazing, and I love it. And I don't want to forget these two names. When we were talking about high school, Steve Paget and Kathy Bergen, both have passed now, but they were the drama and technical theater directors at Shelby High School. And I would say that they probably had more influence on me performing than anybody did, because I had never sang before. I was always very self-conscious of my voice, my singing voice. And I'd played instruments, I even wrote a little bit, but I never would sing. And Steve came to me and cast me in a part in Hello Dolly, and was basically like, I said, well, Mr. Paget, this is one of the lead roles and you got to sing in it. Right. I was like, well, I don't sing. He said, you'll make do. I've heard you play the violin. You can hear pitch, obviously. I can tell you're pretty good on that. So you'll make it.
Right.
And he just basically forced me to, and ever since then, people can't get me to shut up. So
yeah, well, that's good. That's a good thing. Wow, well, now, did you do something? I mean, you were playing, but then you decided that you'd have your own band. I mean, you decided that was the way to go, right?
Yeah, yes, sir. When I was playing with the Upton Brothers, they had 2 or 3 originals of their own, but we were primarily a cover band. And I don't know, I started writing during that time when I was in college. That was, I just found that really fun. I always have. Writing, and I kept a journal when I was little. Also, my mom, that was another thing I thank her for.
I was setting you up for it there, too.
She made me keep a journal. Like, every day I would just write my emotions, write my feelings. It wasn't poems or nothing like that, but I do feel like that's kind of a lost art with cell phones and everything these days, and kids going home and just staying on their tablet all night. I'd sit there and write, and I thank my mom a lot for that, because I think that led me to in college. Once I picked up an instrument, it naturally lent itself to songwriting.
Well, playing covers is fun, no doubt about it. You know that as well as I do. I mean, that's really good. But then there's something special about doing your own stuff. I mean, at some point, it's a bold adventure when you decide you're going to do your own songs. I mean, that is hard. You could work your band forever on cover songs, but there's not the same satisfaction as doing your own music.
No, not at all. It's something else. When I can remember the first time I heard anybody singing along to one of my songs, and it was like nearly choked me up. It was like
I
had like my hair stood up on my arms, and it was just like so cool.
Do you remember the first time you heard one on the radio?
Yes, I do. Oh yeah, that was not too long ago, and that was driving down the road and heard it, and I was just like, oh,
the clear blue. I know there's that is one of the. I feel sorry for people that don't have that experience, because that's almost a life-changing experience.
Yeah.
So that's good. All right, so tell me then about how Dirty Grass Soul came to be.
So that, like I said, it was probably, it was 2011. So I was probably my junior year of college at State. And I just kind of got burned out on playing a lot of the same places and the same covers and that. And I'd started writing and had probably, 8 or 10 originals at that time. And had some buddies, Nick Patterson, that we had just jammed around some campfires some. He was a harmonica player and guitar player, and Drew Stallings, a drummer, and Lance Watson, who's our bass player. We just kind of all got together and we're a garage band and started playing around on these originals I'd wrote. And the next thing we were playing, the little venues around Cleveland County, me pubs, all the Bracket Cedar Park, that kind of stuff, and having a really good time with it. And then we recorded a demo, and then here I am, like almost 7 years later, since our first show was on February 5th, 2012, which was my 21st birthday.
Okay,
so
that's good.
I actually did not get hammered drunk on my 21st birthday. I played a show.
That's great. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, all right, but now this is what you do all the time. I mean, you're working full time as a musician.
Yes, sir.
Working all over the place. I mean, you just got back from a long road trip, right?
Yes, sir.
So, and tell me about your CDs.
Yeah. So we've got 2 now, and I'm working on a third. We're starting new material. We actually have 3. I've got that first group we did. We made I consider it more of a demo though, because we didn't know anything about recording. We went in and recorded the whole thing in one day, and it was just like, bam, 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 play it, we're done. Okay, that's good.
And
sounds great.
Yeah, sounds great.
Well,
and the thing is, at some point you'll look back, and that'll still probably sound good to you because that's where it started.
Yeah, there's some of it that I listen to and I just cringe the whole time. But there's a track or two that I'm like, man, that was actually pretty. The rawness of it actually appeals almost more than if it was really polished up, I think. But since then, we've added Nick and Drew. Left the band. They just both had family obligations and everything, and we picked up different guys along the way, and now we travel as a 6-piece. Added a banjo and steel guitar to the instrumentation, and went a little bit more in I guess you could say a country direction, more I like to say just southern music, because it's got bluegrass flair, country flair, but a little rock, definitely a rock and roll vibe to what we do too. And
well, you actually have a very exciting stage show. I mean, you work the crowd well. You get the crowd involved. Crowds like to come out to see you because basically they're having a good time.
Yeah, that's what I love. Is I like our crowd shows to be that way, and high energy, and I want everybody to have fun when they come to our shows. I appreciate everybody coming, and so I want them to remember what a good time they had when they see us.
Now, when you write your songs, do you write them on acoustic guitar?
Yes, sir. That's almost always. I've started it out. I'll usually have like a hook line or something, and then go from there, and then work the progression out.
I didn't know if you co-wrote with anybody in the band.
Lance, our bass player in the band, is always so I might come up with the generic progression for the song.
Right.
Lance now he is almost, we're 2 complete opposite spectrums, I would say, as far as our taste in music. Lance is very much like loves the Dead and the really loose stuff, like just completely jam.
Right.
jam-oriented stuff where we could play the same song for 20 minutes.
Right.
I'm more of a song guy.
Yeah.
I like the lyric side of it, but I think that's good for what we do because he'll bring in like, well, why not, instead of just playing it straight here, why not let's throw this something little funky thing in there to change it up from being just a straightforward song the whole time.
Well, now tell me about what do you see for the future?
You know, I don't know. Obviously, if I had a bucket list deal, I would love to get to play the Ryman. That's like a Mount Everest of my goals, and I don't know that we'll ever get there. Right now we've already done a few things that I would have, if you would have told me that when I started playing, I would have, that would have been way further than I ever thought we would have gone. And like I said, you know, Charlie Daniels was the gold standard when I was little, and we opened for Charlie twice now. And so, man, if you would have told me that when I started playing, I'd have been like, oh, we made it, man.
Yeah, we made it, yeah.
And I don't know. I just hope we keep growing. And
well, I will tell you that over the years when I've seen you, you just keep getting better. I mean, you know, it's not like you hadn't hit a plateau, you haven't grown stale. I mean, you keep evolving, so that's a good thing. I mean,
thank you.
That's how you get to where you want to go. I mean,
I'm a little bit jealous to some extent of guys that grew up, in musical families and everything, and started at a really young age with their instrument. I feel like, as far as it goes, I still feel like I'm a young musician and learning all the time. So I hope, you know, good Lord willing, that we're just really getting rolling. I feel like I'm just now starting. And
that's good. That's the right way it is to be about the things. I mean, always growing, always learning. Mm-hmm. Well, I think you've done really well. I mean, you guys have taken off real fast. What you got coming up?
I'm looking forward to this weekend. Because we were, like I said, we were in Laconia, New Hampshire last week, and did like a 6-day run from going up. Started in Laconia, New Hampshire, and then made our way down and wrapped it up in Hickory. But this coming weekend, we're actually doing a homecoming show in Falston for their 4th of July deal. We play that. We've played that the past 3 years. And it's in our bass player Lance's backyard.
Oh, that's
because it's actually at Falston Elementary School, and their parking lot's where the show is. But his backyard backs up to Falston Elementary School. Oh. So we have a green room at our house for once.
That's great. That's kind of like Kevin Bridges. He has a song about a guy who falls out of an airplane and lands in a graveyard. In the graveyard that he landed is in Kevin's backyard, which is...
You want to know something absolutely crazy that you just brought that up? My granddad was... at the time was on the highway commission. That accident was in Zion Church Cemetery.
Yes, it was.
My granddad was on the scene to go over there and help report. Yeah, so that is wild. I've never heard the song. I need to check that out.
You need to check it out.
My granddad always tells me about that story.
You need to check. Kevin has a really fine version of the song. I mean, we've gone from his backyard to over there just to see it several times when we practice. So that's probably,
supposedly the guy had just gotten married or something.
He did,
and it was like on his honeymoon.
On his honeymoon, and opened the wrong door. Thought he was going to the bathroom and fell out. And landed in a graveyard in Cleveland County.
I know that's just.
I mean,
that's a wild story.
Yeah, that is a wild story. Well, I do appreciate you taking the time to do this. I know you're a busy man, but it's been very enjoyable for me.
Yes, sir.
And I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you, Sandy. I appreciate you having me, man. Thank you.
Wow, that was fun. I hope you'll join us again on Big Sound Small Town.